The thawing reason your ground is hiding a catastrophic failure beneath you, and in Siberia, 2023, it swallowed an entire research station in under 6 hours. Not a sinkhole, not a landslide, permafrost. Ice locked underground for 50,000 years is collapsing globally right now. And scientists have confirmed something terrifying. They cannot stop it. 24 million square miles. That's how much of Earth's surface sits on top of permafrost. Underneath Alaska, under Canada, under Russia, under the seafloor of the Arctic Ocean. Frozen ground that has held the planet's structure together since before humans existed. Your roads are built on it. Oil pipelines are anchored to it. Entire cities in Siberia use it as their foundation. When permafrost thaws, the ground doesn't crack. It collapses. It turns liquid. Solid Earth becomes a slow-moving slurry that drags everything on the surface down with it: buildings, pipelines, roads, forests. And the collapse has already started. The question scientists are now asking isn't if this will get worse. It's whether the process has already passed the point where human intervention means anything at all. Here's what most people don't understand. Permafrost isn't frozen soil. It's frozen ancient biology. Everything that ever died in the northern latitudes, mammoths, bacteria, carbon-rich plant matter, has been locked inside that ice for tens of thousands of years. Not decomposing, not releasing anything, just waiting. When the ice melts, that material doesn't just get wet. It wakes up. Microbes dormant for 50,000 years restart their biological processes. And as they eat through that ancient organic matter, they release methane and carbon dioxide directly into the atmosphere. Not a slow trickle, a surge. Scientists studying the Siberian thermokarst lakes, the craters left behind when permafrost collapses, have found methane bubbling up so fast you can set it on fire. In 2020, a section of Siberian permafrost released enough methane in a single event to register on satellite instruments 400 miles away. One event. One collapsed pocket of ancient ice. And there are millions more. Now here's where this stops being a story about Russia. That release in 2020, scientists calculated it added the equivalent of an entire additional month of global industrial emissions to the atmosphere. From frozen ground. From one site. But that's not the pattern interrupt. The pattern interrupt is this. Permafrost contains more carbon than every forest on Earth combined, twice over. And it's not just releasing carbon, it's releasing ancient viruses. In 2022, French scientists revived a 48,500-year-old virus found in Siberian permafrost. It was still alive, still infectious, still capable of entering a living cell and replicating. The ground isn't just collapsing. It's opening a vault that's been sealed longer than our entire species has existed. So why can't scientists stop it? The answer is the part nobody wants to say out loud, because the collapse is feeding itself. Here's the mechanics. Permafrost thaw releases methane and CO2. Those gases trap heat. That heat thaws more permafrost. That permafrost releases more methane. You don't need human activity for this loop to continue. Once it crosses a certain threshold, the physics drives it forward without any additional input. Scientists call it a feedback loop. A less diplomatic term is a runaway. The thermokarst craters are now half a mile across and growing. Batagayka crater in Siberia is so large that the indigenous Saka people call it the gateway to the underworld. It opened in the 1970s. It has been expanding every year since. Satellite imagery from 2024 shows it growing by up to 35 meters annually. The walls of its edge contain a stratigraphic record, layers of frozen time, going back 200,000 years. And those walls are now collapsing inward. In 2021, a pipeline in Norilsk failed because the permafrost beneath its supports had thawed. 21,000 tons of diesel spilled into the Arctic watershed. The company's response: they hadn't accounted for permafrost instability in their planning because the permafrost had always been stable. That was the baseline assumption for every piece of Arctic infrastructure built in the last 100 years. All of it built on ground assumed to stay frozen. None of it planned for what we're watching happen right now. Alaska is losing coastline at 45 feet per year in some zones, not from sea level rise, but from permafrost collapse at the shoreline. The Army Corps of Engineers has identified 31 Alaskan communities in immediate danger, not in 50 years. Now, communities where the decision to stay or go has already been made. Entire ecosystems are releasing from the ice. Ancient carbon sequestered underground since before the last ice age is now entering the atmosphere. The rate is accelerating. The 2023 UN Permafrost report concluded that even under the most optimistic scenarios, more than a third of all permafrost will thaw by 2100. That's not a prediction of failure. That's the best case outcome. And it doesn't require catastrophic events. It just requires the temperature to keep doing what it's been doing. Here's the question scientists are quietly disagreeing about in peer-reviewed literature, and nobody is saying publicly. Whether the permafrost feedback loop has already crossed its tipping point. Not whether it will, whether it already has. The data from 2023 and 2024 shows acceleration that wasn't in any of the models. And somewhere underneath a frozen plain in eastern Siberia right now, a pocket of ancient methane is pressing against an ice wall. You'll never know when it gives.